Welcome to this month's Lunch and Learn. I'm so excited to have you here. It is boiling if you're in the UK, and we're trying to get through this. And if you see this years from now or later on, you're going to be like, well, what is she talking about? It is what it is. Today's hot, but we're still going to learn because let's be bothered about the state of our affairs. As much as the weather comes and goes, hot and cold, or whatever the case may be, where you are, what still remains is you looking at your bank account, looking at your finances, looking at your goals, and thinking, why am I still struggling? That's today's talk. I'm going to talk about why am I struggling when I work so hard? Why am I struggling when I work so hard? So I'll tell a little bit of a story, a little bit of background about me. I came into the United Kingdom, and within a month, I had my first job, a cleaning job at a bingo hall. I enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed it. And I was so excited to earn money. I got in there, I did my thing, I worked. Now I was in this bingo hall. And then I was like, I'd never heard of bingo, didn't know what it was, got to learn what it was. And then there was an opening in the kitchen of that bingo hall. And I love to cook. I, at that point, back in those days, thought I was actually going to be a chef. That was my goal. That was like my it. I just thought I want to work in a kitchen. I love cooking. I've done really well at school with it. I really want to pursue this as a career. And so I always kind of leaned towards that. So there was an opening in the kitchen and they were like, yeah, we'll have you. So I started to work in this bingo hall in the kitchen. And I was still doing the cleaning as well because that was mornings. So I was doing both for, a couple of years. I progressed in the life of bingo. We're always pushing, I actually managed, if you know anything about bingo, is that I actually managed to do a few sessions as the caller. It is not easy, but I was there. I made it a point to really work hard and do that. Along the way, I think I worked there about 4 years or so. Along the way, I quit the cleaning job. I was going to college at the time, but also then I found another job at a warehouse, a cafeteria, serving the food, which I really enjoyed. It was a lot of standing, but I enjoyed it. So I managed to have I would go to the bingo hall in the evenings, the evening sessions, and I would work in the afternoon at this cafeteria. That was another good few years of working. So I've been working. I could go through all the jobs that I have gone through in my life. What else did I do? I did a lot of cleaning, a lot of chef work, KPing, so kitchen porter. For years, I kind of went around those, but for each and every time of those, of my life at this point, I always had two jobs. I was always working. I've been working hard. So we moved along the years. Then we went to, what did I go to? I went to university. But even once I was at university, I was a tutor for organizational psychology. During the holidays, I would be working. Oh my goodness. I remember this one job that I did. It paid so well. But basically, I worked in a contact lens factory, a conveyor belt factory, and we would have to check the lenses. Like we used to get sterilized, get into like these really, protective gear. And then I had these tweezers, and for like 12 hours, I would be flipping contact lenses to see if there are any scratches or blemishes. I still say till this day, there are people in those years that are walking around with contact lenses that have scratches because the sleep would catch you whilst you're standing, and this conveyor belt is moving fast, y'all. So yes, I missed a few contact lenses, no doubt. I made a whole lot of money, enough money to pay for my university fees for the following year, for my second year. And I actually took a gap year before I went to university to work, and I did about 3 jobs at that time for my fees. This was my undergrad, for my fees. So I've been working hard. And I have no doubt that everyone watching is working. You're probably still working and thinking what's happening, right? So I'm walking you through a bit of my journey as a employer. I've been at it, guys. That was from 16 that I started. So came back from university at the undergrad, took the box, went into the office world. The kind of things I used to dream about when I was cleaning and think, oh, if I get into an office, my goodness, I'm going to be boiling out of control. I really quickly realized that's a joke. That's not going to happen. So I always had another job. Then I decided to do a post-grad in organization, in master in human resources. I did that because it was supposed to be organizational psychology. Anyway, the one that I could afford was human resources management. So guess what? I went and I did my master's part-time whilst I worked full-time. The one thing that I've always said was probably one of the worst experiences, just trying to manage work and evening lessons. And I had another job at a care place trying to pay for my fees of this master's. So I had a full-time job, a part-time job, and doing my master's. So I've been working. And the list goes on. I've worked. And you know what? After a certain point, I got the revelation that I want to be an entrepreneur. So we started that journey, guys. I have had businesses. I've been a wedding coordinator. I have been an event stylist. I've been a caterer. We've had a catering business. I've been CV advisor, sort of advising on people's careers. I've done that. I've worked, Sham. I've worked, and I know that people on this call have worked hard. They continue to work hard. But at all times, what didn't quite make sense was how my bank account was looking. It wasn't making sense for the amount of work that I'm doing. It wasn't making sense. How is it that I'm working 3-4 jobs, yet the things are not balancing? How is it that I'm working 3 or 4 jobs, but I'm not able to save? How is it that I am working all these jobs, but I don't have assets, I don't have this, I don't have that? It's really not a lack of trying of working, because I've worked hard, and I know that people listening to this, you have worked hard, you are working hard, you continue to work hard. But I started to realize, once I started to, started Harvest Finance and looked at wealth, right? I started to understand the psychology of wealth, started to understand the strategies of wealth, and started to see quite quickly that actually someone said something this weekend. I went to an amazing event, and I'm going to reference it a lot because I drew a lot of inspiration for today from it. And one of the speakers, Nisi T, said, I realized that in this life, I was playing checkers whilst everyone else was playing chess. I was playing checkers when everyone else was playing chess. What does that mean? That means that you are working hard. You are working hard. 1, 2, 3 jobs. You're here, you're there, you've got businesses, you're not sleeping. You are working hard. But you're literally robbing Peter for Paul because you're not in the system. You don't have the foundations that are accurate to be able to be in the wealth system. There's a game that's called chess, strategic, intentional. You make moves according to how the board is looking and what's happening. While some of us playing draft, one for the other, the whole time, others are playing chess. So today I thought, guess what, guys? I'm going to come on here and say, listen, it's not that you're not working hard. It really isn't. It's not even a motivation thing, because I know some of you guys work hard. You're motivated. You're going. We see you on Instagram, LinkedIn, all the platforms advertising like Ruby. We see you pushing. We see you doing the thing. We are seeing you at work. Even they're seeing you. Your KPIs are on point. They are seeing you, but your bank balance is not making sense. So today we're going to talk about that, because actually, we need to work smart, not hard. That's one of the best things that we're getting wrong. We are working 24/7, 4/24, all the time. We're not resting. We're not strategic. We don't have systems in place that support what we're trying to do. And that's where the issue is. So building wealth is about a strategic move. It is about playing chess. It is about systems and having things in order. So today I just thought, you know what? We're going to take a look at just three foundational things in building wealth that I think we all really need to take a look at and really look at them and really start to see, like, how am I moving here? Am I moving like I'm on a checkboard? Okay? You checkmate. Yeah, no, that's chess. That's even the wrong one. Which one are you doing? You need to understand where you are. Whatever draft, whatever chess, right? So let's take a look at it at a building. You build a house. So if you were here last month, I was using the analogy of a farmer who's sowing seed and a plant growing. Today we're gonna be builders. On this platform, you will see that analogies are drawn from everyday life because it is easy for us to understand, to comprehend, and to visualize what we're trying to achieve. So today we're builders. We're building a house, and this house is the house of wealth. So, what do we need to do? We need to have certain systems in place to build this house. We need to have certain materials to have the house. We need to have certain things planned, drawn out for us to build this house. Now, one of the speakers, Ruth Kuzai, said, the problem is with a lot of us is that we are laying down a foundation that is set for a one-story house when we're trying to build a five-story house. So you are trying to build on a foundation that is set for a single story, yet you're trying to build a five-story house. It won't support it. You don't have certain systems and foundations in place that will support the growth that you want. You've written the vision, you've made it plain. You've made it plain. You've written, you know exactly what you want. But your issue is not the knowing. For some people it is. And if that is you, take a look at, do you actually know what you want? You keep saying you want wealth, but what does that look like? What are the figures? What are the numbers? How are you going to acquire it? What are you wanting to do? What is the thing that you're called to do that will give you that wealth? If you don't know, maybe that's where you should start. Start by understanding what it is that you want. What do you actually want to achieve in your life? What do you actually want to achieve in terms of wealth? Now, I'll tell you something even about that, because I used to be like, I want to be wealthy, but I don't even have a figure in mind because your mindset is limited to certain figures. What kind of wealth? And you need to start to speak the language of a wealthy person to understand, like, this is how much I want. And understand that, do you have some limiting beliefs that you have to work through to get to the level of wealth that you want? So I digressed. So we want to build this house of wealth, right? This is why we come on here. We try to educate each other, try to understand better how to build this house. You might have the materials already. And I think what a lot of us do in terms of hard work, we really are, we've got the bricks, chijina ishi, unacho. Because unosenza. You work hard. You absolutely work hard. And there's nothing that you don't try. If you're anything like me, if I've got to go, I am pushing, I'm forging forward. I said, I need to do my master's. And I went to my organization employer. I said, please, can you sponsor me? And they said, no. I said, okay, it's okay. I can make it. Henceforth, this full-time, part-time job and working it. I said, I will make it. You'll see me there on the podium. Some of us who've got the materials. We are Judina, Takadaru. And I think it's important to understand that whilst you might have that, you need to have a strategy. You need to have a plan. You need to have a set foundation for this house to stand. So it's important that you take stock first to understand, do you know what you want? And once you know it and you've written it down and you have made it plain, I want you to understand something. One of the foundations that you need to build this house of wealth that you want, so desire, so are praying for. I mean, some of us have even prayed hard, but because we're not yielding the results, not because we are not sowing, but we just don't have the systems in place. You can't be putting seed into the ground and eating it the next day. Hello, somebody taking savings the next day after putting in after pay. That is what you're doing. You're sowing seed and taking out. You can't build a foundation based on that. It doesn't work. Last month we talked about it takes time. You sow a seed, it takes time for the harvest to come. So it's really important that we have structures in place that allow us to be able to be builders that build wealth. So, foundation. There are three things today we're going to talk about in terms today. It's only three. The ones that spoke the most to me. Your language. What do you say about yourself and your finances? It matters how you speak to yourself. It matters how you address your financial situation. It matters how you dream. It matters what you speak into existence. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18, verse 21 says it clearly. If you're constantly bantering about how broke you are, if you're constantly saying, oh, I can never afford this, if you're constantly saying that I'm not good enough to get that promotion, if you're constantly saying, well, oh, it's because they have money, that's why they can do that, check yourself. Check yourself, because every one of us has every ability to create wealth, because God says it. Because God said it. And he's not a man that he would lie. So you need to understand real quick that this has the power to break or make you. So I want us to start to really be intentional about how we speak about ourselves and our finances. It might not be quite right at the moment. You might not quite have what you would like, but start to dream and say as though it was so. It's really important that you understand who you are and who you belong to. I have a very trusted partner who always says, I find it extremely interesting that man of God is so limited when they are children of God. Why are they so limited in what they think they can achieve or do? Yet their father is the Alpha, the Omega, the source, the everything. But yet you limit him. And she always says, I find it so interesting because we should hold the most power to say that we have abundance all the time, because we are children of abundance. We are children of a king who owns everything. Yet we are limited in our thoughts, in our actions, in our deeds, in the way we speak. So today I want to challenge us. It's not just you, it's me. I find myself discounting myself for no reason. You should not discount yourself in any place. I've told you again and again, that's even resulted in me going to eat in places that look cute because I belong. Because sometimes with the mind, you have to start to do things that make you understand who you really are and what belongs to you. I want you to go away and think of a place or a thing that you said I could never have, I could never do. In fact, I'd like it more to be a place, only because sometimes we have to get our money right. That doesn't mean that we can't do it. It just means that we need to steward well. So sometimes we're in a space where maybe you walk into the shop that you thought I could never. The shop that you feel that, oh, I can't afford that. Go in there, take a walk, touch something, look at it. Act the part, be in it. You'll be amazed what it does to you and your self-esteem and to everything about your belief system, because your belief system is key. I want you to really understand that your language matters. And if you are those people who are listening that have children, it matters even more, because what you say is going to create either a mindset of abundance or a mindset of poverty. It's going to give them the permission to speak in certain rooms or not to, because they are fearful, because no, we don't quite belong, we don't afford, we can't do this. Because you need to mind your language. The foundation in which you build your wealth is based on the knowledge that everything can be yours. Anything that God wants you to have is yours, but you have got to believe it. It's so important, the language that we speak to ourselves, because that's what's going to enable us to be there to sell the things that we need to sell when you've got a business. to sell yourself in terms of marketing yourself, I should say, when you're going for a job opportunity. You need to have confidence in who you are and what you have. I always say we need to always take a look at your skills and the experiences that you have to understand what you have inside of you is so powerful. You just have to understand it and believe it. I want you to really take a look at your language. Start to really think to yourself, is there life or death in what I'm saying? Do you know, I was on a masterclass last week, and it was a sales masterclass. And the lady was speaking, says, there was a lot of, oh, tell me, what are your issues? What are issues? And everyone saying pricing is my issue. Pricing is my issue. And Hetty just turned around, the lady was talking and said, you know what? Most of you don't have a pricing issue. You have a self-esteem issue. I was like, woo, shame. But it's the truth. There's nothing that you should be able to price your services and your product for what they're worth. You should be able to negotiate your salary. They'll give you this one, but there's a range. I work in HR. There's always a range. Never accept the first offer unless it's already, it's something already like, yeah, okay. Always go back and say, listen, thank you for this offer, but I think my skills, expertise, and the things that I've done, I think this is what I deserve. If you're pricing, price what you will. If the client comes back and says, I'm not doing that, oh, this is so expensive, just say, oh, thank you very much for your time. I really hope you find the right person that you can work with. Because also, I tell you something about clients. In all these businesses I was telling you about earlier, what I know to be true, and I've not done this once, twice, and many times over, the one that is unwilling to pay your worth will be potentially one of the ones that's hardest to work for. So know your worth. Price your price. Name your price. Say the pay that you want. You are worth it, and you can do it. So the foundation of your language is really key. That's the thing. It's going to allow you to go into rooms where you have to negotiate not only your income if you're a career-focused person, but if you have to go out for contacts, for tenders, for business opportunities, for proposals, the language that you speak is going to speak volumes to the people that you are trying to pitch your idea to, trying to get the bids, trying to get this and that. You have to be confident. If I come to you, I'm like, oh, I could do this, but maybe I'm not sure. And then, do you think people should give you the money? Come on, sis, you can do better than that. Or be confident because you have what it takes. We know you work hard. We know you can do the work. Doing the work is not a problem, especially when it comes to jobs. If you've been given an interview, to be honest with you, you can do the job. They've seen the CV. You have met the criteria. Therefore, you can do the job. So it's just walking in there saying, listen, you're not doing me a favor by getting this job. You are the ones getting the favor by me bringing my value to this job. Never get it twisted when it comes to a job. Because you would not be sat in that interview room if you could not do it. You wouldn't. It's simple. So don't go in there with the beggars mentality. Go in there with the daughter of a king mentality. Take it. Take me. Don't take me. It's okay. I need to go where my values were. So your language matters. The second foundation that's really important is systems. You need to have systems in place. This is something that I've been working the last 2 years on, and it's really challenged me. It's been a word that I got initially for business. It was like, you need to have systems and processes in place. And I was like, okay, what does that look like? And this is the thing about working hard. You can be working hard day and night. You could even be booked and busy. But if you don't have systems in place, you're You won't make it. I can tell you for free. You won't, because one, you could grow exponentially, right? Your product could take off, your service could take off wonderful, absolutely marvelous. But if your system can't handle that level of blow up, then you've got a problem. It might sustain you for a little bit, but this is where the customers are complaining. Oh, I sent my email. I haven't gotten a proposal return. Or I sent my order. I haven't received my item. Or I tried to pay something on your system. It wouldn't allow me. Or your website wasn't working when I went on, when I wanted to buy what you said you were selling. Systems. Systems are so key. You have got to have systems in order for you to build wealth. For your house to stand, it needs systems. You need to have accountants. You need to have marketing people. You need to have experts in areas, because you cannot do it all. You're busy working hard day and night at things that you have no business working hard at. It's really important that you have systems in place, because I tell you what, sister girl, when that money comes in flowing, let not the reason why you fail is the system. Everyone is rushing to order. Your system fails. How can you be let down by systems in this day and age of AI? Come on, guys. Technology is there, left, right, and center. You need to take a look at the systems around you. Learn. I always say learning is the greatest investment. Not stocks and shares, ISAs, not crypto, not a house, property. Learning is your greatest investment. So make sure you're investing and understanding these systems and putting them into play. There are so many systems with AI at the moment that could save you time and energy. And you need to be part of those systems, because you need to rest. It's an actual commandment. You rest on the seventh day. You need to rest so that your soul is refreshed, so that you can serve with excellence, so that your systems can work properly. You need to rest, but you're not going to be able to rest when you don't have systems in place. So important for you to make sure you've got systems in place. Now, whilst I was being challenged, I was going through like business systems need to be in place, right? So I was challenged, working hard on that, and then God took me one further and said, you need systems in your life. You need systems in your life. You need the stamina in which to build a good business, build wealth. You need the stamina. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you don't work hard by this title. You do work hard, but you work smart, but hard. And that needs stamina. It needs good health. It needs good sleep. It needs good health. Therefore, you have to build a system that is a non-negotiable when it comes to your health and your well-being. That is a system. It's something I saw on Instagram that said, for wealthy people, there are 3 things you always need to do. You need to sweat every day. You need to read at least a chapter, 20 pages a day. It varies with the people you're listening to. And third, you need to surround yourself with good people, big network people. Now, if you're not sweating every day, you're not building your body is not building stamina and resistance and resilience and all that it needs for that level of wealth that you're praying for. So you really need to sort out a system, prioritize. How am I moving each day? What am I eating? How am I resting? Check in. How's my mental health? Do I need to see a psychologist, a a counselor, a therapist, whatever the case may be? Do I need to see somebody because I have a few issues mentally that are not allowing me to be the best version of myself? Those are systems. You need to take a great look at what systems you have in play to make sure that body, mind, and soul are looked after, because you are the vessel. You are the vessel. That's this foundation needs. That's this house needs. So you need to look after yourself. Proverbs 21 verse 5 says, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. You need systems. The plans of the diligent. The diligence we've got all right. We work hard. Like we said, diligence triple. But the plans, the systems, we need to work on them. Another system we have to have in play if we want to succeed: financial systems. Do you have a budget? I spoke earlier about this. I said you can't be sowing today and reaping, and not ripping it out. It's not a reaping. You put money into savings, but one hour tomorrow you're taking out. It's not a system. That's just checkers, just playing. Do you have financial reviews? Do you check your spending? What systems do you have in place to make sure that the way you manage your finances, the way you steward your finances is reflective of what you're building? Does your business have financial management? This one tripped me up myself. I was just like personal finance. As you know, I'm a personal finance person trying to teach everybody. But I started to also realize that my business did not have systems, no financial. It comes in, goes out. It doesn't make sense. You need to be saving for the accountant, for the tax, for the systems. Is your business registered? Have you done your confirmation statements? Those are all systems you need to have in play. And therefore, you need either people to do it for you, but you need to do it yourself, but you need a system that checks. Someone once said, you never want to go get a massive contract and then they go on company's house and so that you didn't file your accounts, you didn't do your confirmation statement. Did it alone. Why? You've worked hard to get a deal. You've marketed, you sweated, you've put the proposals, you've gone to meetings with them 20,000 times for you to get this deal. Only when they said, yeah, you can have it, you're good. For them to go to company's house and see that your house is not in order, that your bricks, your foundation is not solid. That's not you. From today, that's not me and you. That will never be us. So the plans of the diligent surely lead to abundance. That wealth gain. Abundance is ours. Abundance is ours. Wealth is ours, but we have to have some plans in place. It's not just going to come. The last one, the last foundation I'm going to talk about is, I've coined it, the foundation of movement. And what that really is that faith by itself is not accompanied by action, is dead. And that's a different version. We know the one, we sing it. Faith that works is dead. James 2 verse 17. You've got to act. You've got to act. I know you think you're acting because you are working hard, because I know 100%, I'll confess to that. I'll be the first one to tell you. Because I'm busy, I think that I'm actually acting. I'm actually doing the movement that's required to build a foundation. But some busyness is just moving around in the same circle. When I say the foundation of movement, is understanding that knowledge alone is not going to change your situation. Reading, researching, learning are valuable. We love them. And I said it's the greatest investment. But, people say knowledge is power, but knowledge is only power when it's put into practice, when it's actually implemented. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you're not putting into place, then you're just a book filled with pages with nothing, no action. It's really important that you take a look at what are you actually doing to set up your systems. I'm reading, yes. I'm working hard, yes, that's good. But what have you done with what you have read? If what you have read is saying you need to have a budget, why don't you have a budget? If what you have read is saying that you need to have a stocks and shares and there's compound interest, why aren't you part of any of those vehicles that are doing that? You've come to enough webinars, Zoom meetings, and when we keep saying, budget, 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 but you have no budget. You don't even know how much money you have in your account right now. And if I asked you last month, what did you spend on and how much did you spend on this? You have no clue. I want you to go away and sort it out because it's not going to work. Knowledge without action is just knowledge. Yeah. Faith itself, not accompanied by action, is dead. Faith itself, not accompanied by action, is dead. I need you to work on your foundations. Work on your systems. Systems are so important. Work on the language that you're using. I think a lot of us need to spend a lot of time on the systems because let me just go back. Systems, I obviously talked about your business systems, what you need for your business, how to grow it. I've talked about budgets and your financial systems. We've talked about a health system. Another one, your life. So how are you managing your life? Is it scatter? You're here, there, you're that. You don't know whether you're coming or going. You need a system in place. Where am I on Friday? 12 noon, every last Friday of month. I'm here. I'm with Rumbi. We're talking. Because I'm going to learn something there that I need to implement for the next month. That's a system. You need to have a system. What are you cooking? You're just rummaging through the fridge, the freezer. You're just everywhere. Next thing you're going to the shop, you're buying 20,000 things when your freezer is full. You don't have a system. And the lack of systems, the results are detrimental. Because check this out. The house is scattered because you're trying to rummage through everything to find out what to eat. The people that you're trying to support in that household, your family, are also Zara, we're hungry. What are we eating for dinner? Mommy, this. You're getting flustered. You're shouting at them. Everyone's in a mess. You go to the shop, you get in there, scattered. You're buying everything. You come back, you've bought way more than you needed. Your budget is out of whack. Can you see the result of a failure of one system? Meal planning is the system. Can you see the ricochet of just that example of how the failure of one system is affecting so many elements of your life? This is why it is essential that you have systems in your house, in your life, in your business, at work. At work, it's weird because a lot of us are forced into systems and we don't even realize the systems. You know that there's a team meeting every X day of the month. You know that you have certain objectives you need to meet. Why don't you have those systems in your own life and in your business? You need to have systems. If you have children, more so, because it's not only your system, you've got their system. And if you're not careful, all the systems are wild. Guys, we need to work smarter, not harder. And the way we're going to accomplish this is if we have systems in place. So, going back to the last one, which is action, because we need to go away from this and analyze, reflect, think about which area of your life doesn't have a system. And even if it does, is it going well? Because sometimes we keep doing the same thing and it's not working, but you keep doing it. Why? I talked about AI and technology. Now you can even go there and say, these are the ingredients that we have in our house. Give me meal ideas for 5 days. Do me a better. Give me the grocery list. Per computer, watopedza, meal plan. 1 hour later, what on a meal plan? Guys, we need systems in place for our lives. But we need to act. I need you to act, ladies. Because we need to play chess. We need to have foundations that will support what we are becoming. In attending these things, in learning, in growing, we are trying to become something better for ourselves. But we need to have foundations that will support that. You have a vision, you've made it plain, you have the goal, you have the dream, you've got it written. But if you don't have a strong foundation, it's not going to be able to handle what you want to build. Action. I need you to act, ladies. There's no point you coming here talking to me every month and we remain the same. We need to act. Now, I have created something that is really simple, that I really, if you haven't done it already, I really want you to take a look at my financial quiz. This quiz I created because sometimes we have blockers in terms of, oh, I couldn't possibly try sort out my finances because I can't speak to someone, I can't afford a course, I can't afford a book, I can't afford this and that. This quiz is for free. And what it does, it takes you through questions, some key questions that allow you to understand where you actually are financially. Because I think a lot of us, we're either not sure because we're scared to know. We think we're somewhere where we are not, but our lives are reflecting that actually we're not quite there. Or we know where we are, but we still need support on how to get to where we want to be. So this quiz, by the answers that you input, it will direct you to the kind of season or place that you are in. And then it will send you some free guides on the things that could help you in the season that you're in. So I really would say, as just to say it's landed today. What you've heard today has landed. The first point of action is just to take the quiz. It literally doesn't take 10 minutes, but you'll have done something. Then when you get the guides, do one even better and actually start to put those things in place. In those guides, there might be some systems that you can implement to help you. So the quiz link has been put there. If you're watching on YouTube later, if you go to harvestfamilyfinance.com landing page, the quiz is there ready for you. But I want us to win. I don't want us to keep working hard and not having the right tools to actually help us to do better, to move faster. Because when you start to work smarter, it's not that you won't do the hard work. You definitely do the hard work, but what you're going to yield in that strategic way of moving is way greater. You have compound interest that works for you whilst you are actually sleeping. The markets are working for you in your favor. You've got digital products where whilst you are sleeping, someone somewhere in the world is going to buy it. You're making money from it. You're in a job, you've negotiated your contract so much so that it allows you to go to your child's sports day. There's so many ways to look at this. You need to have systems to build a solid foundation that will support the wealth that you're creating, the wealth that you're building. So, the language you speak, the systems you have in play, systems for body, systems for business, systems for your household, systems for your life, and the foundation of action. We need to move. We need to actually do the doing. Because faith alone, hard work alone, is not going to cut it. We need to act. So thank you so much for joining. I have listed the resources that we have. We have a fantastic course called The Big Shift. That is one that we recommend that when you really want to change your finances, if you want to start to really take a look at how can I build, take that course. It's on our website for you to start. It's a 6-week course. You do it at your own pace. There is a variety of ways in which you can undertake it because different people have different learning needs. But when done and fully done, when you're doing the doing part and actually doing it, your finances will never be the same. But more importantly, your mindset will never be the same. And that foundation of your mind is critical. So speak good of yourself. You are more than able. Abundance is yours. Wisdom is yours if you ask it. You need to work smart and not only hard. Thank you so much for joining me today.